Willing place shall be. Yes. What did it do? He lives within. Good morning, guys. Good morning, everybody. Listen, God, good morning to you, my sister. Child, I say a piece of sleep hold me last night. Oh, my word. Good morning, guys. How everybody doing? Happy Tuesday morning to you all. Happy Tuesday morning, everybody. We are here again. And you all know when we come at this time of the morning, what we are all about. So welcome into the live, everybody. I see Charles. I see David. I see... Who else do I see? I see Card. I see... Some people don't have any name and some people have only numbers. I'm not sure why people are afraid to give themselves a name. Give yourself a name so I can address you, but not... I see Texas Girl, but I see Lee Peterson. I see Corky, Jeanette. Yes, welcome into the live, guys. Thank you all so much for stopping by. Thank you all so much for coming. If you are just coming, if you are new here, a very special welcome to you. If you are somebody who has been following me for one reason or the other, whether or not you have been listening to my... God, am I what? Third part series? Or you are listening to the Bible reading, or you are listening to me read a news article, or whatever it is. Right boot, send me roses. Jesus, right boot, you come the right time, you know. Even though you boot up on the left foot, you put on your boot them left or right. But but you are here. Good morning, my friend. How are you doing? Thank you for the roses. I appreciate you. I look at my friend Tiana. TR, what's up? What's up? How you doing? Good morning to you, TR. Good man. A long time I no buck you up in a TR. A long time I no see you. Can you remember TR? A long time I no see me now. See TR here, so. With the TR show. Okay. Thank you for the roses, guys. I really did need some roses in my life this morning. Thank you so much. Bless up yourself, TR. And right boot. Right boot, even though I'm wearing boot them on the left or right foot. Winsome, good morning. Watch out, Winsome, say me late. Yes, Winsome, me kinda late. Jesus, Winsome, you ain't never gonna let me live down coming here 2 hours late, huh? Yeah, me late for true. But me say when the clock alarm at 4 o'clock, I just felt like, all right, maybe if I take another 30 minutes, I'll get up at around 4:30. But lo and behold, my eyes just opened at 5:47. You know I was exhausted. But anywho, the show's got to go on. So those of you who are new here, welcome into my channel. Those of you who are regulars, a special welcome to you, all my regular travelers. It is always a pleasure being here with you. You know, at this time of the morning, when I pop up, it's not really the shenanigans time, but it is the time for us to do our Bible reading. Now, before we go any further, I usually preface with letting you all know that I do not endorse any particular religion or denomination. No, sir, I do not. What I do You're late for work, but you reach. I appreciate you, my love. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. You're here. JK, you're here. You better be. Okay. Good. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming. All right. So, guys, at this time of the morning when we pop in, we come in to do the Bible reading. We do the Bible reading because, well, I am doing the Bible reading for me because I am on this journey to read the Bible from beginning to end. I want to know the contents of the Bible. I want to know what is in the Bible. I no longer want to be told what is in the Bible. I no longer want to be indoctrinated into something of which I have absolutely no clue. I no longer want to be told because the Bible says so. No, I want when I am told that the Bible says so, that even if the speaker doesn't know exactly which verse or chapter to find that statement, I would have at least have an idea as to whether or not that statement is in the Bible. And I can go back and look for myself. So this reading of the Bible is not to encourage or discourage anybody on their religious journey. It is for me to know what is in the Bible, and I have chosen to share that journey out loud. Now, I don't know nothing about the Bible. I was grabbed and baptized at about, I think it was maybe like 11 years old. Even then I had a lot of questions as to what are we doing here? What is going on here? And I mean, people think I ask too many questions, and I'm an Eden, and me questioning God, and may they go to hell, and all these nonsense. Because you see, religion is brought out of fear, and it is also maintained out of fear. You have to be made to be afraid of some kind of consequence for you to obey. Say I have 5 kids, and I've hardly ever had to discipline them. My first child, I have never, when I tell you never, I have never had to slap, to put in the corner. Never. And some people say, oh, because you love she mother. Me not love her no because me love her no more. No. It's because when you tell her this is what you are supposed to do, or don't do this, you don't have to tell her twice. You don't have to threaten her. You don't have to tell her what you're going to do to her. No. Me have 2 sons though. What me have to tell them, don't grab you in your collar. Yeah. I may have to grab them in them collar and pull them close and make them know who is boss. You understand? Yeah. So with religion, it makes you so afraid. People are even afraid to live. People don't want to live. If people to put on one pants, I see people arguing with themselves about whether they must put on one pants in a cold America. They have to check with them pastor to find out if it's okay. People are y'all crazy. They have to check with them pastor to find out if it is okay to put on a pair of trousers in the cold. This to me seems cultish and seems like mind control. Like they are controlling you, are controlling every single aspect of your life. You have to check with pastor. If you want to wear your hair out, You're not permit, you want to wear it out. Pastor say your ear not stay good. That not godly. People say, oh, your clothes not stay good. It not godly. Your skirt there your knee. Your skirt for there your ankle. People don't see it as being controlled, but it is. It is. I know some people say, oh, Trev, you just pick and choose. So you wanna pick and choose? Oh, sorry. Anyway, Desiree is here with some with some that easy, When some say Trevor reach at 12K, 11K, man, yeah, go on. Yes, with some, and to consider, that me not even, I put up nothing over there, nothing more than so, because, say, I know them not give me back my money sign. So that's why you see me not over there more than so. Yeah, cause what's the point? If me come over TikTok me have somebody over here in the chat. I'll spend 2 hours with that one person. And it's never ever one person. I'll spend up time over here with them and chat and laugh and stuff like that. Yeah? Rather than over there, so chatting and laughing and doing all these things, and then them taking money and don't give me $1. No, sir. Right, Desiree? Yeah. So yeah, so that's what that is. But anywho, gentle people, yeah. So I am on this quest because I've got to read this Bible for myself. I've got to discover what is in it. I got to get the context of all these statements that people keep throwing at you to say that this is what the Bible say. I need to get context from it. I need to know who was speaking, to whom were they speaking, what were they talking about, why they made that statement, and how relevant that statement is to my life today. Because because in the Bible, these are stories. These are stories. There are people who claim to be prophets. There are people who claim to be prophets because they feel like they have a certain kind of anointment. And so they are that's a pastor for minding business. True. Pastor love tell the people them when them feel weird. And my people them. Some people just easy to be led, Them have to ask pastor if me could have went in a cola bust my shot. And me need pastor permission to tell me whether or not me can put on one trousers. Then in that the case there, if you're freeze, so that you deserve it. But anywho, yeah, because that is absolutely ridiculous. Oh, Bible say enough to wear pants. Which part of the Bible say enough to wear pants? Bible say enough to wear woman of a wear man garment. What is man garment? What is man garment? Woman have 2 foot, a man have 2 foot. So if pants can go up on 2 foot, you have 2 foot. Exactly. Okay? So I don't get this. I don't get this. When the Bible I don't think the Bible talking about that. The Bible probably talking about something more specific. Something more specific. Like bra. I think that's probably what they're talking about. Because bra would be more specific to be a woman's garment. Because nature don't make a man. Yes, what I mean, Desiree, nature don't make a man to grow boobs. So I don't know, I'm just thinking outside the box, guys, because that's how we come up with great ideas. Exactly. Foot have to wear shoes. So any foot can wear shoes. So I don't understand when they talk about, or they're adhering to the Bible, because the Bible says a woman shouldn't wear a man's garment and a man shouldn't wear a woman's garment. It can't be just the fashion of the clothes, because the fashion of the clothes would be something like tradition or somebody's idea of a fashion statement. But you can't tell me that this shirt is a man's shirt and I can't wear it, or this shirt is a woman's shirt and a man can't wear it. Society has taught us that anything with frills and bells is for a woman, and anything that plain and John is for a man. But that's just how we have been conditioned. If it can go overhead, it can go over any head. You get right, Kat? And the female body and the male body are basically the same without a few. There's just a few differences in the genitalia and the chest development, but otherwise it's the same. so everybody make up their mind what they want to do, and we have been taught to judge people based on that. But that is what socialization does. So socialization does instill in us a certain degree of judgment that that society expects us to use against each other. And we have to cut that out, because it pits us against each other, and that is exactly the base of religion, to pit us against each other. You notice in the Bible how the children of Israel. AG is here. Good morning, my darling. How are you doing? Good to see you. Happy Tuesday morning to you, my love. Yeah, you all notice that even in the Bible, there was so much wars. There were many wars and bloodshed and fighting, and all of this was supposed to be religious, and it was supposed to be right. It was supposed to be right in the sight of their God. Right, Jenna Weird? You're on the train to work. Good morning, my love. How are you doing? Be safe. Be safe, my love. Good to see you. I hope you're having a great morning. Be safe, my love. Yeah. So even in the Bible, as we read, there has been so many wars. We see the children of Israel, after being led out of Egypt by Moses and spending 40 years in the wilderness and coming into. It's better now that you hear me. Oh, my absolute pleasure, my love. Yeah. So after we see them coming out of the wilderness and coming into the eastern side of the River Jordan and slaying all those people, and going across the River Jordan into Jericho and slaying all those people, and traveling up to the country of Ai and slaying all those people, and taking all that land and continuing to slay and take, and until they were able to establish a whole big old dynasty down there. It was in the name of the Lord. It was in the name of their God, because they said their God promised them all of that land. And so they took it. They didn't go up into the mountains and take some land that was not inhabited. Why didn't they do that? They didn't do that because they had so many animals. They needed flat land. They needed grassland for their animals to graze. It was all done in the name of their God. We have seen where, after having established themselves in the region, after having grown a massive dynasty in the region and establishing their country, we see where the people around them, the Syrians, the Ethiopians, the Egyptians, the Libyans, so many people around them were not happy. Because remember, over on that side as well was where Esau had gone to create the country of Edom. Remember Esau and Jacob? Some of you may not remember the story of Esau and Jacob, the two brothers. Jacob robbed his brother's birthright, and Jacob ended up getting the blessing of God while his brother was banished. And I find it quite odd. That's another thing I find quite odd in the Bible, because we have been socialized to believe that when you steal, when you take something that doesn't belong to you, when you deceive people, when you cheat people out of what is rightfully theirs, you are supposed to be cursed. You are supposed to have something to ask for forgiveness for. Right? That's what we have been taught, right? But in the Bible, Jacob cheated his brother Esau. Jacob robbed his brother Esau of his blessing. But yet, the amazing Emma and G, Jacob became the one to be the chosen one. If I was Esau, wouldn't you be mad? Some people said Esau was angry and evil and he shouldn't have been mad at Jacob. Wouldn't you be mad? If my sister stole the blessing that belonged to me, and then I am the one who gets banished, and I have to go live someplace else and make my own country, form my own country, do my own thing out there, and I do not get that blessing, I'd be mad at her too. So the children of Edom were the descendants of Esau, and they maintained that anger. Exactly. Jenna Wade said he stole his father's final blessing in deception, and that was on his father's deathbed, so he couldn't fix it. Exactly. His father was on his deathbed, so it wasn't like he had time to fix the situation. He didn't have any time. And so for Jacob, the children of Jacob, to now be exalting themselves as the children of God, as the chosen ones, as the ones who are deserving or more deserving of God's eternal blessings and all of this. If I was Esau, I would be mad too. And if I was a descendant of Esau, of course, yes, I'd be mad. Because look, they claim to be getting all the blessings, and we over here so are abandoned, and he was the one who stole from us. So when the children of Israel reached over on that side, there was a great opposition from the children of Edom, because the children of Edom were descendants of Esau, and they still carried a great animosity for the children of Israel. So much so that when God said that was addressed, he couldn't fix it even if he wanted. He couldn't fix it even if he wanted to, because it was already finalized between him and God according to the Bible. Jacob couldn't fix it. Their father couldn't fix it. Okay? So even when the children of Israel were had made their whole dynasty that ended up being destroyed by the people around them, the people of Edom were rejoicing at their destruction, because to them, even though they are so closely related, they still saw them as enemies. They still saw each other as enemies. Yeah, Carl says once the blessing was given, it couldn't be taken back. Exactly. And even when the children of Edom rejoiced when Israel was destroyed, even then, according to the Bible, they said their God say they should go and destroy Edom, because the children of Edom rejoiced at their destruction. So these people were hell-bent on revenge. I see a lot of revenge in there. Lots of revenge in the Bible. I see a lot of deceit. I see a lot of hatred. I see a lot of bloodshed. I see a lot of deceit. A lot of trickery. Yeah. And if you want the crowd to follow you, if you want to be considered amongst your people, you just got to declare yourself a prophet. You just have to say you had a dream. And we know that there were dreamers and then there were dreamers. After having read the Bible, I've discovered that there were prophets and then there were prophets. But you got to read the Bible to determine. Mike, what's up? Bless up yourself, Mike. How you doing, my love? To see which prophet seemed to have been led by an unseen force and which prophet was not. Because even the Bible talks about the false prophets. But you have to read it to be able to identify who in the Bible seemed to have been going off their own accord, as opposed to who was being led maybe by a different kind of energy. So far, I'm sure I've read about more, but I have identified Micaiah. I think Micaiah was a true prophet. I know, Nata, you don't remember who Micaiah was. So if you go back to the book of Kings, First Kings, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was Kings 22, First Kings 22. I don't remember. But Micaiah, go to First Kings 22, I think it is. Don't quote me on it. Just check it out. Because everybody got a Bible. All right. Micaiah was the prophet who had said he believed King Ahaz was going to die in the battle against Samaria when they were fighting over Ramoth Gilead. Because Ramoth Gilead was a vast area that belonged to the Jews. And over the years, the Syria had fought them and stolen that land. And they had vowed to get it back. And so they had gone up to fight with Ramoth Gilead. But before they went up, they had asked all the prophets whether or not God wanted them to go. And 400 prophets King Ahaz asked whether or not God wanted them to go and fight the Syrians. And the 400 prophets said yes, God wanted them to go. 400 prophets, them a liar. When Jehoshaphat said to Ahaz, why don't you don't have no other prophet here you can ask? He said, yeah, me know one man, his name is Micaiah, but I don't like him because every time I ask him, every time I consult with him, I should say, he never have anything good to say to me. So you see, sometimes you hear people saying them like a particular preacher because a preacher here, whatever reason they like this preacher and how this preacher preaches, etc. It's not because this preacher is preaching truth, but they like the charisma of this preacher. There are lots of charismatic preacher out there. You listen to a preacher and he talks about his childhood experiences and he jumps around on the stage and he does all these things, and he never say a word of the Bible for the whole hour and a half sermon, and everybody come out and say they feel blessed. Yeah, that kind of charisma some pastors have that gets people and say, Jenna weird. You are right. And there are others. Yes, they're charismatic public speakers. but there's nothing religious about their saying, and they sometimes incorporate the word God in what they are saying and quote a Bible scripture and quote a single Bible scripture, and everybody says, oh, they are filled with the Holy Spirit from this man's preaching. Yeah, I mean, but that's what prophecy is, to foresee the truth. Exactly. Prophecy is to foresee what will happen, but it's not usually what you want to hear. So King Ahaz never wanted to hear anything Micaiah had to say, because whatever Micaiah would have told him, it would have been the truth. So he never want to hear that. He want to hear what the other false prophets, 400 of them, guys, what they told him. And when he finally consulted with Micaiah, and Micaiah said to him, I see the children of Israel on the mountains of Israel like sheep without a shepherd. That meant that if Ahaz went to the war with Samaria, he was going to end up being killed in the war, and the children of Israel was going to be left without a king. Ahaz didn't want to hear that. He didn't like that. He was angry. He was angry. And even Hezekiah was angry because of what Micaiah said, because Hezekiah was one of the prophets who said, God said they should go to war with Samaria. And when Micaiah said the opposite, they didn't like that. Hezekiah had already had his armor. He had his armor made already, ready for war. And when Micaiah said what he said, Hezekiah was upset. And what did he do? The prophet who said him as a prophet of God, a man of God, what did he do? Him shot Micaiah a box. Him shot Micaiah a box and said, where God find pass to pass me to come talk to you. Some people are so engrossed in their idea of grandeur. Yes, they feel so grand. They are, they are the ones they believe they are so close to God that you got to come talk to them about God, because you see, you ain't got in a malice. You can't talk to God if you believe in a God for yourself. Right? He shot at him a box. Exactly. He shot him a box because I believe he was upset or he was jealous, because Micaiah was the only one. There were 401 of them, and Micaiah was the only one who prophesied that Ahaz should not go to war with Syria at that time. And Ahaz went to war, and we know what happened. So the children of Israel were indeed left like sheep wandering without a shepherd, because he did die in the battle. All right. So that was one person in the Bible that I believe was telling the truth, was a real prophet. And you don't hear much about Micaiah. You hear a lot about people like Jeremiah, who I believe the opposite of. Okay? But we're not going to talk about Jeremiah right now. We're not going to talk about him, because you all know by now how I feel about that fellow. How I feel about that crooked fellow. But this morning, we are going to be reading from the book of Zechariah. And if you don't know where the book of Zechariah is right behind the book of, which book? It is right in front of Malachi, or some people call it Malachi. I don't know what you all call it. It is right after the book of Haggai, and right before you get to the book of Malachi, however you pronounce it. And that is the last book in the Old Testament. All right, we're going to read chapters 10 through 12. By 8 o'clock, I've got to go. Okay, so Zechariah chapter 10, my friends. Let us get cracking. Get your book Bible or your Google Bible and read along with me. Yeah. Get your book Bible or your Google Bible, guys, and read along with me. So me just always up on my case. Oh my word, Sister Winsome. You just always up on my case. But anyway, I love you. I love you too, my darling. All right, so let's go, guys. Zechariah chapter 10. Ask ye of the Lord rain in the time of the latter rain. So the Lord shall make bright clouds and give them showers of rain to everyone grass in the field. For the idols have spoken vanity, and the diviners have seen a lie, and have told false dreams. They comfort in vain. Therefore, they went their way as a flock. They were troubled because there was no shepherd. Mine anger was kindled against the shepherds, and I punished the goats. For the Lord of hosts hath visited his flock, the house of Judah, and hath made them as his goodly horse in the battle. Out of him came forth the corner, out of him the nail, out of him the battle bow, out of him every oppressor together. And they shall be as mighty men, which tread down their enemies in the mirror of the streets in the battle. And they shall fight, because the Lord is with them, and the riders on horses shall be confounded. And I will strengthen the house of Judah, and I will save the house of Joseph. All right. And I will bring them again, to place them, for I have mercy upon them, and they shall be as though I had not cast them off. For I am the Lord their God, and will hear them. Hey Danielle, how are you doing? Welcome into the live. Verse 7. And they of Ephraim shall be like a mighty man. And when it says they of Ephraim, it means the descendants of Ephraim shall be like a mighty man, and their heart shall rejoice as through wine. Yea, their children shall see it and be glad. Their hearts shall rejoice in the Lord. I will hiss for them and gather them, for I have redeemed them, and they shall increase as they have increased. And I will sow them among the people, and they shall remember me in far countries, and they shall live with their children and turn again. I will bring them again also out of the land of Egypt, and gather them out of Assyria, and I will bring them into the land of Gilead and Lebanon, and place shall not be found for them. Well, on the gentle people, let me go back up here. So, verse 6. And I will strengthen the house of Judah, and I will save the house of Joseph, and I will bring them again to place them, for I have mercy upon them, and they shall be as though I had not cast them off. So that sounds like restoration. He's going to restore house of Judah and the house of Joseph. He's going to build and restore them, and it's going to seem as though he had never cast them away. And they of Ephraim shall be like a mighty man, and their heart shall rejoice as through wine. Yea, their children shall see it and be glad. Their heart shall rejoice in the Lord. I will hiss for them and gather them, for I have redeemed them, and they shall increase as they have increased. And I will sow them among the people, and they shall remember me in far countries, and they shall live with their children and turn again. I will bring them again also out of the land of Egypt, and gather them out of Assyria, and I will bring them into the land of Gilead and Lebanon, and place shall not be found for them. Really? What that mean? Place shall not be found for them. Is it that there is it that there's going to be so many of them that he's going to bring back that we're not gonna have room for all them, or we're gonna bring back all of them? Or is it that we're going to bring them back, but the place is going to be already occupied? The former seems like the truth, right? Like he's going to restore them and bring them back, and there's not going to be room to hold all of them, because he's going to bring back the whole host of the house of Judah and Joseph and Ephraim. All right, that's how I understand it to mean. But let us continue. Verse 11, and he shall pass through the sea with affliction, and shall smite the waves in the sea, and all the deeps of the river shall dry up, and the pride of Assyria shall be brought down, and the scepter of Egypt shall depart away, and I will strengthen them in the Lord, and they shall walk up and down in his name, saith the Lord. This is what Zechariah say, the Lord say. Okay, Joan Williams, bless up yourself. Good morning to you. Welcome into the live. Thank you so much for coming. I sincerely appreciate you. All right, that was the ending of Zechariah chapter 10. We're going to move along into Zechariah chapter 11. And for those of you who are just coming, just discovering my channel, whether on the talk or the tube, please be reminded that I do not endorse any particular religion or denomination. I'm reading the Bible for myself because I want to know what is in the Bible. I want to understand this concept of the Bible, and I choose to do it out loud so you all can hear it, because I know a lot of you don't like to read the Bible. You don't like read, period. I don't like to read the Bible. You just like to condemn and convert, convince and condemn other people who refuse to read the Bible. Yeah, but you have never read it. You read 2 Psalms here. You have read in the beginning. You have read, a proverb here, a proverb there. You just know a little few verses of the Bible, but nobody can tell you, say, what's in the Bible. Some of the things that are in the Bible are questionable, because I'm not ready for condemn people and claim to them blaspheming and them a go to hell and all these things. Mind control. But anyway, I have chosen to take a different path. So I am reading it for myself, and I have chosen to share it with you. So whosoever will may come and listen. All right? Let us continue. We are on to the book of Zechariah. Zechariah chapter 11. Open thy doors, O Lebanon, that the fire may devour thy cedars. Howl, fir tree, for the cedar is fallen, because the mighty are spoiled. Howl, O ye oaks of Bashan, for the forest of the vintage is come down. There is a voice of the howling of the shepherds, for their glory is spoiled, a voice of the roaring of young lions, for the pride of Jordan is spoiled. Thus said the Lord my God, feed the flock of the slaughter, whose possessors slay them, and hold themselves not guilty, and they that sell them say, Blessed be the Lord. For I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. For I will no more pity the inhabitants of the land, saith the Lord. But lo, I will deliver the men every one into his neighbor's hand, and into the hand of his king, and they shall smite the land, and out of their hand I will not deliver them. Now, as Zechariah said this, guys, don't forget, okay? Zechariah is the one who said this. Say God says so. All right. Verse 7. And I will feed the flock of slaughter, even you, O poor of the flock. And I took unto me 2 staves. The one I called beauty, and the other I called bands, and I fed the flock. 3 shepherds also I cut off in 1 month, and my soul loathed them, and their soul also loathed me. I wonder which 3 shepherds were those he cut off. 3 shepherds who hate him and he hate them. Now Zechariah said this, say God tell him so, So if you don't say God not eat, you don't hear it right here, so? As Zechariah says so though, is a man who said this. And if you understand that these authors, they are people who are claiming that God told them whatever they said he told them. And you understand that they ascribe normal human qualities to this God. So you will find that they assign love to him, they assign hatred to him, they assign anger, they assign destruction, everything. You are going to find that these authors assign to this entity they call their God. It is not far-fetched. But in today's society, how I have been socialized, I should say, is that this same entity is all loving. Anything that is wrong or bad didn't come from him. Anything that is evil and cruel came from the devil, and anything that is good came from the entity called God. But it's the complete opposite of the way he is presented in the Bible. So where did that disconnect come about? How did modern society start to assign only good deeds to the same entity that is being spoken of in the Bible? Where did that change come about? The way we were indoctrinated, the way we were socialized into believing, because in our subconscious, we are saying if he is almighty, all loving, all great, all peaceful, then he could never endorse the opposite of those good things. But if you follow the Bible, that would mean that that thought is misplaced. That thought is wrong. But let us continue reading. We are on, for those of you who are just coming, we are on to the book of Ron. Miss Sienna, Ron, what's up? We are on to the book of Zechariah, chapter 11. Let us continue. Verse 9. Then said I will not feed you that well, I don't know why they wrote that twice. Alright, thank you, Rowan. Me glad to me awake too, believe me. I'm glad that I am awake. God, so if you read Romans chapter 9, verse 13. Alright, let me see. We're Romans then now. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts, Romans. Okay. Romans chapter 9, verse 13. Alright, make we go around there and read it to what it says. Romans chapter 9, verse 13. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. There you go. You see what I'm talking about? I tell you. And that is supposed to be who's speaking. And them say God says so, Me no know God, me no know if God talk to those people. We say God tell them stuff. It's like even though somebody else say God said this around here, so in the book of Romans, yeah, I mean I have no trust that God says so. Yeah, the entity that is called God is all unseen, so when these people say God tell them stuff, I think it's just they come up with it from their minds, because we read about all these people who claim that God tell them something and not go so how am I supposed to know who was telling the truth? Only the ones who said something that happened, the ones that prophesied something that actually happened. I mean, those are the ones whose veracity I'm not questioning too much. But the ones who seem to just follow, just be following, yeah, I have a problem with them. It's also in Malachi. Okay, all right. So I can't wait to get to the book of Malachi to see it. Thank you so much, Kad. I appreciate when you are in the chat, because when you are in the chat, you help me out. You help me out a lot, and I appreciate it, my love. Thank you so much. All right, let us go back to Zechariah chapter 11, verse 9. Then said I will not feed you. What is man? Okay. Then said I will not feed you that dieth, let it die. And that it repeats the word that. So let me read it again, just like it is. Then said I will not feed you that dieth, let it die. And that is to be cut off, let it be cut off. And let the rest eat, everyone the flesh of another. Huh? Really? Are the people that me talk about here, sir? We start each one another like cannibals? Hold on. Hold on, the people, because we gotta get this. We gotta get this right. I'm gonna read the whole chapter 11 again, because I gotta get that right. Open thy doors, O Lebanon, that the fire may devour thy cedars. Howl, fir tree, for the cedar is fallen, because the mighty are spoiled. Howl, O ye oaks of Bashan, For the forest of the vintage is come down. There is a voice of the howling of the shepherds, for their glory is spoiled. O voice of the roaring of young lions, for the pride of Jordan is spoiled. Thus saith the Lord my God, feed the flock of the slaughter, whose possessors slay them, and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, Blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. For I will no more pity the inhabitants of the land, saith the Lord. But lo, I will deliver the men every one into his neighbor's hand, and into the hand of his king, and they shall smite the land, and out of their hand I will not deliver them. And excuse me. And I will feed the flock of slaughter, even you, O poor of the flock. And I took unto me 2 staves, the one I called Beauty, and the other I called Bands, and I fed the flock. 3 shepherds shall I cut off in 1 month, and my soul loathed them, and loath that means hate. And my soul loathed them, and their soul also abhorred me. That's another word for hate. Then said I will not feed you. That dieth, let it die, and that is to be cut off, let it be cut off, and let the rest eat every one the flesh of another. And I took my staff, even Beauty, and cut it asunder, that I might break my covenant which I had made with all the people. And it was broken in that day, and so the poor of the flock that waited upon me knew that it was the word of the Lord. Verse 12. And I said unto them, if he think good, give me my price, and if not, forbear. So they weighed for my price 30 pieces of silver. And the Lord said unto me, cast it unto the potter, a goodly price, that I was prized at of them. And I took the 30 pieces of silver and cast them to the potter in the house of the Lord. Somebody says, seems like this is about a specific race of people. Me no know one. I don't know, me love. Joseph is here. Bless up yourself, Joseph. How you doing? God, I'm going to go back to Jeremiah 19, verse 9. All right. Let me see where Jeremiah. Oh, Jeremiah, they know. Jeremiah, the around here, so. Jeremiah 19, verse 9. Let me see what Jeremiah is around here, so no. Jeremiah 19. Hold on. Jeremiah 19 verse 9 says, and I will make this city desolate. And no, verse 9. And I will, let me read verse 8 as well. And I will make this city desolate and a hissing. Everyone that passeth thereby shall be astonished and hiss because of all the plagues thereof. And I will cause them to eat the flesh of their sons and the flesh of their daughters, and they shall eat every one the flesh of his friend in the siege and straitness. In the siege and straitness, wherewith their enemies and they that seek their lives shall straiten them. Then shalt thou break the bottle in the sight of the men that go with thee. Really? So that's a curse on them? If they eat one another? Me not understand that, God. So God cursing the people to make them be cannibals? When I hear that people and me say it, it's the Bible. So that was Jeremiah chapter. Me have to ask if God made the people them eat each other deliberately. He must deliberately curse them to that effect. That's interesting. I hear so in Jeremiah he told them he go make them eat one another, and then over here so in Zechariah it is said again, him gonna make them eat each other. What does it mean, the literal eating? Or do they use it figuratively? Let us continue reading, guys, because as I tell you, when you all listen to me read this Bible here, you are going to hear when I stumble, when I'm confused. Yeah, there is no editing. This is the raw version of me when I am confused and utterly perplexed at what I am reading. You will hear it all. Verse 11 again. And it was broken in that day, and so the poor of the flock that waited upon me knew that it was the word of the Lord. And I said unto them, if he think good, give me my price, and if not, forbear. So they weighed for my price 30 pieces of silver. And the Lord said unto me, cast it into the potter, a goodly price that I was prized at of them. And I took the 30 pieces of silver and cast them to the potter in the house of the Lord. Then I cut asunder my other staff, even bands, that I might break the brotherhood between Judah and Israel. Oh, okay. So these two staffs, why would you use the words eat the flesh? Exactly, God. That it perplexes me. Why would they use the word eat the flesh? But these two staffs, the two staffs that he talked about, one being called beauty and the other being called bands, one is used to break the covenant, and then the other is being used to break the brotherhood between Judah and Israel. I want to hear this, people. So he used the stave that was called, he had two staves. It's like, the thing like the cane, what them use? Yeah, one is a staff, two is staves. Okay, so he has two of them. So that's why the Bible says staves. All right, he has two. One is called beauty, one is called bands. The one that is called beauty, he used that one to break his covenant with the people. And the other one that is called bands, he used it to break the brotherhood between Judah and Israel. But why? I don't know, guys. I really don't know. But we're going to continue reading because we're not going to stay here and wallow in the confusion. Verse 15. And the Lord said unto me, take unto thee yet the instruments of a foolish shepherd. How are the instruments now of a foolish shepherd? He said, take the instruments of a foolish shepherd. For lo, I will raise up a shepherd in the land, which shall not visit those that be cut off, neither shall seek the young one, nor heal that is broken, nor feed that standeth still. But he shall eat the flesh of the fat, and tear their claws in pieces. Woe to the idle shepherd that leaveth the flock. The sword shall be upon his arm, and upon his right eye. His arm shall be clean dried up, and his right eye shall be utterly darkened. That means in right eye are going to be blind, and his arms are going to dry up. That sounds like him have a medical issue, right, God? Like he's going to be made. He's going to be made to not be able to see from his right eye and not be able to use his arms. What kind of curse is that? I don't understand, but the Bible do have a whole lot of curses in it. A whole lot of curses for the people. Where you think about that, card? What he just said? He said, for lo, I will raise up a shepherd in the land, which shall not visit those that be cut off, neither shall seek the young one, nor heal that is broken, nor feed that standeth still. But he shall eat the flesh of the fat, and tear their claws in pieces. Woe to the idle shepherd that leaveth the flock. The sword shall be upon his arm, and upon his right eye. His arm shall be clean dried up, and his right eye shall be utterly darkened. Joseph said, look how long people and young people. Delia! Delia, welcome. How you doing, Delia? Good to see you, my sister. How you doing? Just to look how long people and young people. Lord Joseph. It means if you're teaching the people wrong. Delia say it means if you teach the people wrong, you're going to hell. But then again, you got to determine. You determine who is teaching wrong and who is teaching right. Because surely, if you are teaching out of the Bible here, a lot of people in today's society, if you go directly from the Bible, they're going to tell us say you're wrong. Because a lot of people are not aware of the actual contents of the Bible. They just go with how they were socialized, but they're not aware of the actual contents because they haven't read it for themselves. So if you say to somebody that in the Bible, Zechariah is saying that God told him how he hated the people, you would say, no, that can't be true because God doesn't hate. If you say to people that according to the Bible, Jeremiah, for example, said God told him he was going to destroy the people. He was going to make sure they died by the sword, and if not by the sword, by famine, and if not by famine, by pestilence. You would say, oh, well, it must have been something they did, because God is a kind and loving God and he would never hurt you unless you really deserved it. And in the same breath, you would say God is all loving and peaceful and forgiving. And even if you did something wrong, he would forgive you and not destroy you over it. So the perplexity that comes with all this confusion that is presented to us, it causes us to question what we were indoctrinated into believing, as opposed to what we are actually reading for ourselves. You understand? They like say them a eat people in a specific Caribbean country. Uh, Not just Caribbean keep. What if I eat in a Guan these days? Anyway, let us continue. Them say them filter out some of the comments. I don't know what people in the comment is saying. Why they say they got to filter out some of the comments. What could people possibly be saying when at the Bible me I read? Someone on no behavior, you know, or I don't know. The platform you know have no behavior. Them love filter out comments. I think because the algorithm does not understand. I don't think it's set up to understand the English language per se, or it is set up to understand the English language one particular way. And because we all speak differently. Watch O'Neill now. O'Neill, what's up? And because we all speak TT earlier. Yeah, because we all speak differently, I think it goes against how the algorithm is set up. I think that is for the people them who worship idol. You know, when we use the words the people them worship idol, I question it sometimes when they say the people worship idol, because idol worshiping would indicate that you have created a little statue for yourself. You don't have to create something tangible to call it your idol. It could be in your mind. And we see here a battle between those who have created an idol that is tangible versus those who have created an idol in their minds. Continue if you read Jeremiah chapter 3 and verse 8. Why Jeremiah have so much to say in today's conversation? But let's see. Jeremiah chapter what? Chapter 3 and verse 8. God, now let me get to it this morning, you know, Jeremiah chapter 3 and verse 8. And I saw when for all the causes whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery. Yes, I had, wait, let me read that again. And I saw when for all the causes whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery, I had put her away and given her a bill of divorce. Yet her treacherous sister Judah feared not, but went and played the harlot also. Yes, this is where according to the Bible, Israel is personified as a bride, as being married to God. That kind of closeness, that kind of togetherness is what they were talking about here. And when Israel disobeyed, it would be like a woman committing adultery, like a woman cheating on her husband. That's what the Bible was referring. Thank you for that, Kat. That's what the Bible was referring to here. Because when it talks about the groom and his bride is like God and his bride, God being the groom and Israel being the bride. And when it talks about abandoning Israel because she committed adultery, is that Israel went to serve the people of Israel were now serving the gods they had made out of stone and wood and whatever else. And by so doing, they had abandoned their groom, which is their God. So that's why it says that the groom had abandoned the bride. Israel was considered the bride. And he said, Judah, they feared not. They went and did the same thing, and so they suffered the same punishment. Joseph said, them no want nothing to do with the Bible and God. That is why them filter. You know, say true. True, you know, Joseph. God said is referring to the separation of Judah and Israel. The separation of them. Are you talking about separating them from each other or separating them from the personified groom that it's talking about? Because that is my understanding of it. The groom is supposed to be their God. Judah and Israel together is considered to be the bride. Separately, they are considered to be a bride each, but they are personified in that bride position to the same groom, which is their God. And he says, Israel committed adultery. Now, adultery, my friends, is different from idolatry. Don't mix up the two. Adultery, when a woman commits adultery, she go cheat on her husband. When you commit idolatry, that means you go serve one like an idol. Yeah, you go worship an idol. Yeah. So in Jeremiah there, when he says that the groom was separated from the bride being Israel, that means God cut off Israel because Israel cheated. It said adultery. Adultery. That means you cheat. And then Judah did the same thing, cheated on the groom, which is their God, and suffered the same fate as Israel. Thank you for that, Cud. Mr. You're smart, you know. Very. I appreciate you, though. Thank you so much. All right, guys. So with that being cleared up, we are going to continue. This Bible here is something else, you know, people. I tell you. We're going to continue anywho. We are on to the book of Zechariah. For those of you who are just coming into the live, we are on to Zechariah chapter 11 and verse 15. And the Lord said unto me, now this is Zechariah speaking. Zechariah said, the Lord tell him so. Okay? And the Lord said unto me, take unto thee yet the instruments of a foolish shepherd. What are the instruments of a foolish shepherd? What shepherd use? Not the little staff, the little cane something that they use to lead their flock. He said, take unto thee yet the instruments of a foolish shepherd. For lo, I will raise up a shepherd in the land, which shall not visit those that be cut off, neither shall seek the young one, nor heal that is broken, nor feed that standeth still. But he shall eat the flesh of the fat, and tear their claws in pieces. Woe to the idle shepherd that leaveth the flock. The sword shall be upon his arm, and upon his right eye. His arm shall be clean dried up, and his right eye shall be utterly darkened. Hello, Kamba, what's up? What are you doing? We are going to move right along into chapter 12 of the book of Zechariah. Boy, guys, I gotta tell you all that I'm really glad to take on the journey here now. I'm really glad that I took on this journey because this Bible here is rather interesting. When I'm finished reading it this time, I have to go read it over because there's just so much that is in it. And when you read and read and read, there's so much that you forget. Yeah, so I'm still going to be continuing the reading. Chapter 12 of the book of Zechariah. The burden of the word of the Lord for Israel, said the Lord, which stretched forth the heavens and laid the foundation of the earth, and forms the spirit of man within him. All right, we'll read that again. The burden of the word of the Lord for Israel, said the Lord, which stretcheth forth the heavens, and layeth the foundation of the earth, and forms the spirit of man within him. Behold, I will make Jerusalem a cup of trembling unto all the people round about, when they shall be in the siege both against Judah and against Jerusalem. And in that day will I make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all people. All that burden themselves with it shall be cut in pieces, though all the people of the earth be gathered together against it. Listen to that again. And in that day will I make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all people. All that burden themselves with it shall be cut in pieces, though all the people of the earth be gathered together against it. In that day, saith the Lord, I will smite every horse with astonishment, and his rider with madness, and I will open mine eyes upon the house of Judah, and will smite every horse of the people with blindness. You need to, because me need money, so you need to go work. Man for work. Yes, you need to work. Because me need money. Me no want no man who can't mind me. Yeah, about time now. About time now. Me need somebody to mind me. Wait a second. Hey, Mark, what's up? Let us continue. And the governors of Judah shall say in their hearts, the inhabitants of Jerusalem shall be my strength in the Lord of hosts, their God. In that day will I make the governors of Judah like an hearth as in a fireplace. That's hearth with a H. In that day will I make the governor of Judah like an hearth of fire among the wood, and like a torch of fire in a sheaf. And they shall devour all the people round about, on the right hand and on the left, and Jerusalem shall be inhabited again in her own place, even in Jerusalem. Exactly, Delia, no jellyback man. Watch us so continue if you read Jeremiah chapter 51 and verse 21. All right, make we go back on Jeremiah, go see what I must say yesterday. Jeremiah chapter 51 and verse 21. 51 and verse 21. 51 verse 21. And with thee will I break in pieces the horse and his rider, and with thee will I break in pieces the chariot and his rider. With thee also will I break in pieces man and woman, and with thee will I break in pieces old and young, and with thee will I break in pieces the young man and the maid. I will also break in pieces with thee the shepherd and his flock, and with thee will I break in pieces the husbandman and his yoke of oxen, and with thee will I break in pieces captains and rulers, and I will render unto Babylon and to all the inhabitants of Chaldea all their evil that they have done in Zion in your sight, saith the Lord. Yeah. Hey, Joseph said, what about the jellyback woman? Them have some jellyback woman, Joe. Joseph, you're not easy, you know. Joseph said, what about the jellyback woman? I never know so them have some jellyback woman, Joseph. Let us continue, guys. Let us continue. We are on Zechariah chapter 12, my friends. You are welcome to read along with us. Verse 6. In that day will I make the governors of Judah like an hearth of fire among the wood, and like a torch of fire in a sheaf. And they shall devour all the people round about, on the right hand and on the left. And Jerusalem shall be inhabited again in her own place, even in Jerusalem. You know something, guys, to be honest with you, I don't understand this phenomenon. I don't understand this biblical phenomenon of breaking down the people you love and destroying them and then bringing them back together. This breakdown, build up, breakdown, build up. I really don't get it. Maybe some of you understand it better. Can help me understand it? But I really don't understand. What is the purpose? Is this a purposeful dynamic, or is it just to cause confusion? I'm not sure. Overturning the horse and their rider. Yeah, overturning the horse and the rider, destroying. Oh, God says it's for purity. Oh, okay. Okay, God says it is for purity. That, oh. Ah! Joseph said, Joseph said a lot of jellyback woman out there because them can't move. Oh my God. They stay still, Joseph. Oh my word. Me wouldn't know, me love. I would not know. But anywho, we are going to continue. God says it is for purity that there's all this destruction. Okay, so I don't have a counter argument, so we're just going to continue with something. I don't know with you, Joseph. And it came to pass, and it shall come to pass. Them something really, really interesting, you know. Let us continue reading. Sister Winsome, continue following me in the Bible here. Chapter 12 and verse 8. In that day shall the Lord defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem. And he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David, and the house of David shall be as God, as the angel of the Lord before them. And it shall come to pass in that day that I will seek to destroy all the nations that come against Jerusalem. And I will pour upon the house of David and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem the spirit of grace and of supplications, and they shall look upon me whom they have pierced. Hold on there. Hold on there. Let me read this again. And it shall come to pass in that day that I will seek to destroy all the nations that have come up against Jerusalem. Can't you remember the story of the potter and the clay? How the story go? The potter used the clay for his work. I don't know how the story go, cause tell me. I don't know how the story go. About the potter and the clay, but I could make a story of a potter and a clay. And it shall come to pass in that day that I will seek to destroy the nations that come against Israel, come against Jerusalem. And I will pour upon the house of David and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem the spirit of grace and of supplications, and they shall look upon me whom they have pierced. Now, why am I pause there, so people? Because remember, we haven't read about the crucifixion yet. So, what kind of pierced he might talk about here, so? And they shall mourn for him as one mourns for his only son, and shall be in bitterness for him as one that is in bitterness for his firstborn. In that day shall there be a great mourning in Jerusalem, as the mourning of Hadad Rimmon in the valley of Megiddon. And the land shall mourn, every family apart, the family of the house of David apart, and their wives apart, the family of the house of Nathan apart, and their wives apart, the family of the house of Levi apart, and their wives apart, the family of Shimei apart, and their wives apart. All the families that remain, every family apart, and their wives apart. All right, Mike, you be safe now on those streets, because don't be they are going bad. Yeah. Down at St. James, they keep on being in the news. So be careful and take care of yourself. All right. All right, let us read that part once again. From verse 10 to the end of chapter 12. And I will pour upon the house of Jerusalem, and I will pour upon the house of David and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem the spirit of grace and of supplication, and they shall look upon me whom they have pierced, and they shall mourn for him as one mourneth for his only son, and shall be in bitterness for him as one that is in bitterness for his firstborn. In that day shall there be a great mourning in Jerusalem. In that day shall there be a great mourning in Jerusalem, as the mourning of Hadad Rimmon in the valley of Megiddon. Now I'm going to have to look up to see what that mourning in Hadad Rimmon was about, so that I can make the association of the magnitude of this mourning that they are talking about. Kenisha, bless up yourself. How are you doing? Happy Tuesday morning to you, my love. And the land shall mourn, every family apart, and the family of the house of David apart, and their wives apart, and the family of the house of Nathan apart, and their wives apart, and the family of the house of Levi apart, and their wives apart, and the family of the house of Shimei apart, and their wives apart, all the families that remain, every family apart, and their wives apart. Here ends the reading of Zechariah chapter 12. And this brings us to the end of the reading for this morning. We have read all that Zechariah, most of what Zechariah claimed God has told him about the two staves that he has. One called Beauty. What the other one name again? Hold on there. One is called Beauty and the other one is called Bands. One called Beauty and one called Bands. The one called Beauty is being used to separate the covenant, to break the covenant. And I wonder, why would God want to break his covenant with his people? He said to break my covenant which I have made with all the people. Why would he want to break that covenant? Isn't that covenant supposed to be sacred? I'm a little bit perplexed right there because, Paula, how you doing, my love? Yes, because I never would have thought that I would have read in the Bible that God wants to break his covenant with the people, because I believe that his covenant with the people was supposed to be unbreakable, unbreachable. So that left me a little bit perplexed there. And then he will use the one that is called the bands to break up Israel and Judah. Not sure what to make of that. Not sure what to make of that division, separation, the need for it, or the value of it to the, I'm going to say, the Christian content. I'm not sure. But all right. God says, just like a husband or wife breaks their covenant to being faithful to their partner. Well, and that even brings about more questions as to why would God not want to continue to be faithful to the Jewish people? Why would he no longer want to be associated with them? That to me seems odd and far-fetched. So that's where my perplexity is coming from right now. Because in the Bible it does say they commit adultery against him by having gone off to go serve other gods. But to break the covenant with them, remember the covenant with them, is that they are the chosen people. They are going to rule the earth. This covenant, to break this covenant would be significant, would mean now that they are to him like nobodies. He don't care about them anymore. They are no different from the rest of the people. He'll not give them any special treatment anymore. That's my understanding of it. If you have a different understanding, please share. But that's my understanding. That's my understanding of it. Because if a wife breaks her covenant of faithfulness with her husband, that means she don't care about him no more. She don't care about his well-being. She don't care about cohabiting with him. She don't care. She don't care about anything, and vice versa. Same thing with the man. If he breaks his covenant of faithfulness and loyalty to his family, to his wife, it means he no longer cares. If she lives, she lives. If she dies, she dies. She'll be treated just like all the others right now. No special treatment. No lovey-dovey, no nothing. That's how I interpret it. But when we come back tomorrow, guys, we are going to finish the reading of the book of Zechariah. We're going to read chapters just read it so. We read 10, 11, and 12. Tomorrow when we come back, we will read 13 and 14. Oh, hold on there. Tomorrow when we come back, we will read 13 and 14. But I'm kind of into it right now. You know what? 13 and 14 is not even that long. It's just about 3/4 of a page. We're gonna read it. We're gonna read it this morning here. Yeah, we're gonna read chapter 13 and 14 because it might help give us some clarity for this chapter 12 here that we have just read. Some things can wait till tomorrow. We're going to move on to chapter 13, guys, though I said we were going to stop at chapter 12. In that day, there shall be a fountain opened to the house of David and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem for sin and for uncleanness. Hold up. Hold up. In that day, I'm not going to tell you which day it talk about. The day that they say shall come to pass, when the Lord will seek to destroy the nations that come up against Israel. In that day, there shall be a fountain opened to the house of David and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem for sin and for uncleanness. And it shall come to pass in that day, said the Lord. So Jeremiah said, no, said the Lord. Not Jeremiah, so Zechariah said the Lord, say, that I will cut off the names of the idols out of the land, and they shall be no more. They shall be no more remembered. And also I will cause the prophets and the unclean spirit to pass out of the land. And it shall come to pass that when any shall yet prophesy, then his father and his mother that begat him shall say unto him, Thou shalt not live, for thou speakest lies in the name of the Lord. Hold on. We can read this today again. Please follow me, guys. In that day, that is the day that the Lord shall defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem. All right. In that day there shall be a fountain opened in the house of David and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem for sin and uncleanness. And it shall come to pass in that day, said the Lord, that I will cut off the names of the idols out of the land, and they shall no more be remembered. And also I will cause the prophets and the unclean spirits to pass out of the land. And it shall come to pass that when any shall yet prophesy, then his father and his mother that begat him shall say unto him, Thou shalt not live, for thou speakest lies in the name of the Lord. And his father and his mother that begat him shall thrust him through when he prophesies. That thrust him through mean they shall what? Put a sword through him? What that mean? Shall thrust him through when he prophesies. And it shall come to pass. It's not like it's ordering his parents to kill him. Is that what it is? All right, let us continue. Verse 4. And it shall come to pass in that day that the prophets shall be ashamed, every one of his vision, when he hath prophesied. Neither shall they wear a rough garment to deceive. Okay. Because remember, the prophets in those days, they wore this particular garment that identified them as a prophet. So here, according to Zechariah, God saying that when that day come, when he shall when he shall seek, everybody who seek to destroy Jerusalem, when he shall seek to protect Jerusalem from those people, all these false prophets, them no longer go wear this robe that identifies them as a prophet. If you come and you prophesy, and even your parents have permission to thrust something through you. Mighty God. I mean, know they mean it literally. Yeah, don't tell me them I mean that literally. They mean it literally. To thrust something through them. And it shall come to pass in that day that the prophet shall be ashamed every one of his vision when he hath prophesied, neither shall they wear a rough garment to deceive, but he shall say, I am no prophet, I am a husbandman, for a man taught me to keep cattle from my youth. And one shall say unto him, what are those wounds in thine hands? Then he shall answer, those with which I was wounded in the house of my friends. Awake, O sword, against my shepherd, and against the man that is my fellow, saith the Lord of hosts. Smite the shepherd, and the sheep shall be scattered, and I will turn my hand upon the little ones. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die. All right, Kazi shall point out something to me later. All right. But the third shall be left therein. And I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Lord is my God. That's the end of chapter 13. And we have chapter 14. We are going to just finish the book of Zechariah this morning. Behold, the day of the Lord comes, and thy spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee. For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle. Yeah. Then I hold this. The Lord I gather people against Jerusalem, and at the same time I defend Jerusalem. In chapter 12 and verse 9, it says, and it shall come to pass in that day that I will seek to destroy all the nations that come up against Jerusalem. I saw it right this, and then when you come over here, so chapter 14 verse 2, it says, I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle. Hold on there, guys, because that is important text right there. On a market, if you don't have a book Bible or Google Bible, on a market. In Zechariah chapter 12. In Zechariah chapter 12 and verse 9. According to Zechariah, him said the Lord says, and it shall come to pass in that day that I will seek to destroy all the nations that have come up against Jerusalem. And here in chapter 14, it says, behold, the day of the Lord cometh, and they spoil, and thy spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee. For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city shall be taken. And the houses rifled, and the women ravished, and half of the city shall go forth into captivity, and the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city. Then shall the Lord go forth and fight against those nations, as when he fought in the day of battle. And his feet shall stand in that day upon the Mount of Olives, which is before Jerusalem on the east. And the Mount of Olives shall cleave in the midst thereof, towards the east and towards the west. And there shall be a very great valley, and half of the mountain shall remove towards the north, and half towards the south. Me not understand which race of women were vanished. Not Jerusalem. Instead of women shall be taken. Let me read it again here, so. Let me read it again. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, and thy spoil shall be divided. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, and thy spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee. For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city shall be taken, and the houses rifled. It's talking about the city of Jerusalem. The houses rifled, and the women ravished, and half of the city shall go forth into captivity, and the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city. Then shall the Lord go forth and fight against those nations, as when he fought in the day of battle. And his feet shall stand in that day upon the Mount of Olives, which is before Jerusalem on the east, and the midst thereof towards the east, and towards the west. And there shall be a very great valley, and half of the mountain shall remove towards the north, and half of it towards the south. And he shall flee to the valley of the mountains, for the valley of the mountains shall reach unto Azal, Azal. Yea, he shall flee, like as he fled from before the earthquake in the days of Uzziah, king of Judah. And the Lord my God shall come, and all the saints with thee. And it shall come to pass in that day that the light shall not be clear nor dark. What God say? What that? Deuteronomy 28 verse 30. All right, God, so if you read Deuteronomy 28 verse 30. Deuteronomy 28 verse 30. Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Thou shalt dwell therein. No, thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Thou shalt build a house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. Thou shalt plant a vineyard, and shalt not gather the grapes thereof. Who's speaking, and who is he speaking to? I gotta get some context here. Let's see. Verse 25 says, The Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them, and flee 7 ways before them, and shalt be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth. And thy carcass shall be meat unto the fowls of the air, and unto the beasts of the earth, and no man shall fray them away. The Lord will smite thee with the torch, with the botch of Egypt, and with the emeralds, and with the scab, and with the itch whereof thou canst not be healed. The Lord shall smite thee with madness, and blindness, and astonishment of heart. And thou shalt grope at noonday, as the blind gropes in the darkness. and thou shalt not prosper in thy ways, and thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee, shall save thee. Thou shalt get a wife, you shall betroth a wife. That means you shall get a wife, you shall marry a woman, and another man shall sleep with her. And you shall build a house, but you shall not live in it. You shall plant. Is it talking about Israel? Is it a curse upon Israel? Or what is it? Thou shalt build a house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. Thou shalt plant a vineyard, and shalt not gather the grapes thereof. Oh, that's what it is. Oh. But I don't understand the contrary sentiments towards the children of Israel here by their God, as is depicted in Zechariah. I don't understand it. One hand is saying, I love you, I want to raise you up, and the other hand is saying, I hate you, I want to destroy you. Which is it? I mean, I don't know. I don't know, God. This one has brought me a measure of confusion, to be honest. But we are going to continue reading. We are on the book of Zechariah, chapter 14 and verse 7. But it shall be one day which shall be known to the Lord, not day nor night, but it shall come to pass that at evening time it shall be light. And it shall be in that day that living waters shall go out from Jerusalem, half of them towards the former sea, and half of them towards the hinder sea. In summer and in winter shall it be. And the Lord shall be king over all the earth. In that day shall there be one Lord, and his name one. So does this seem like the abomination of the false gods, as they are called, idol worshipping? Is that what it's talking about? That the idol worshipping shall cease, and the Lord shall be king over all the earth? In that day shall there be... what happened here? In that day shall there be one Lord over the earth. In that day shall there be one Lord, and his name one. Dr. Dre is in the house. Dr. Dre, my friend, how are you doing? Happy Tuesday to you. Welcome into the live. I sincerely appreciate that, Rose. Goes straight to my heart. From me to you, from you to me. Appreciate you, my love. Oh, you come so late. Eh? You come when we are wrapped up, and we would have wrapped up already. But not for deciding that I'm going to read chapter 13 and 14. You would have never seen me this morning, my friend. You'd have to go wait until tomorrow when we read the book of Malachi. But welcome into the live, my love. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you. Let us continue. We are on to verse 10 of chapter 14. All the land shall be turned as a plain from Geba to Rimmon, south of Jerusalem, and it shall be lifted up and inhabited in her place, from Benjamin's gate unto the place of the first gate, unto the corner gate, and from the tower of Ananiel unto the king's wine presses. You knocked out, you was on live till late last night. Too much party last night. And men shall dwell in it, and there shall be no more utter destruction, but Jerusalem shall be safely inhabited. And this shall be the plague. And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. And it shall come to pass in that day that a great tumult from the Lord shall be among them, and they shall lay hold upon one on the hand of his neighbor, and his hand shall rise up against the hand of his neighbor. And Judah also shall fight at Jerusalem, and the wealth of all the heathen round about shall be gathered together, gold and silver, and apparel in great abundance. And so shall be the plague of the horse, of the mule, of the camel, and of the ass, and of all the beasts that shall be in these tents, as this plague. And it shall come to pass that everyone that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, and to keep the feast of tabernacles. And it shall be that whosoever will not come up to all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, even upon them shall be no rain. Okay. And if the family of Egypt go not up and come not, they have no rain. There shall be the plague, wherewith the Lord will smite the heathen that come not up to keep the feast of tabernacles. So is this saying that there will be a time when everybody is going to be expected to come upon the mount and serve this God of Israel, and if they don't, this God is going to punish them and give them no rain. So he's basically going to starve them to death if they do not come up to worship him. He's going to make sure they get no rain. And no rain means no crops. And no crops means no food. And no food means no sustenance. And no sustenance means death. Let's see Adara here look a while. Adara, what's up? What are you doing? Okay. But that is godly. And we're going to continue. Alan boy, bless myself. We are going to continue. Verse 18. And if the family of Egypt does not go up, they shall have no rain. There shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite the heathen that come not up to keep the feast of tabernacles. This shall be the punishment of Egypt, and the punishment of all nations that come not up to keep the feast of tabernacles. In that day shall there be upon the bells of the horses holiness unto the Lord. And this holiness is written in bold letters. So that tells me that on the little collar, it's going to be written on the little collar that the horses wear. It's going to be written holiness unto the Lord. And the pots in the Lord's house shall be like the bowls before the altar. Verse 21, and this is the last verse of Zechariah. Yea, every pot in Jerusalem and in Judah shall be holiness unto the Lord of hosts, and all they that sacrifice shall come and take of them, and seethe therein, and in that day there shall be no more the Canaanite in the house of the Lord of hosts. All right. There is the end of the reading. Snicker Fritz, how you doing? There is the end of the reading of Zechariah. I know this morning I said I was going to read to chapter 12, but chapters 13 and 14 beckoned to me. So I finished the reading of Zechariah today. Winsome said, yes, Winsome. So tomorrow, when we come back tomorrow morning, we will read the book of Malachi, Malachi, however you pronounce it. But we will read tomorrow the last book of the Old Testament. For those of you who are just coming, you are a little bit late. You put them a little bit short, but welcome. Thank you so much for coming. Anyway, we have just completed the reading of the book of Zechariah. Still another book that has presented with some controversy there, with the Lord saying in chapter 12 and verse 9 that he was going to go up against everybody who had gone up, who dares to go up against Jerusalem. And then in the same breath, in chapter 14, it says that it's going to destroy Jerusalem and it's going to be rifed through, and the women are going to be great, and all of this stuff. But it is the Bible for you. When we come back tomorrow, my friends, we will read the book of Malachi. So I want to say thanks again to everybody who came into the live, those who contributed to the chat, those who contributed to the coffers for the roses. My friend Right Boot, my friend Jenna Wade, my friend Dr. Dre, and Chris the Island Boy, when he said he was going to destroy Jerusalem. What Chris say? Is that a question, Chris? Is that a question? Huh? Because if you're referencing what I just read, I am talking about in Zechariah chapter 12 and verse 9. He said he was going to, and it shall come to pass in that day that I will seek to destroy all the nations that come up against Jerusalem. And in chapter 14 and verse 2, it says, for I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city shall be taken, and the houses shall be rifed, and the women ravished, and half the city shall go forth into captivity. That's what I'm talking about. So he also made a new Jerusalem. So he destroyed the old Jerusalem to make a new Jerusalem. Well, I guess that's part of the understanding. So I guess we are on the same page. That he destroyed the old one and made it new, I guess. Because it talks about bringing back the people from wherever they were, the people who are scattered. Because remember, a lot of the Jews had to run for their lives, or they would have been destroyed in the melee and the chaos that ensued over Jerusalem. So he talks about gathering them and bringing them back to Jerusalem and making Israel basically a new country. So I guess that's where we are going to end it for this morning. When we come back tomorrow, we will be reading the book of Malachi, however you say it. All right, guys, that's going to be it from me for this morning. I want to say thanks to everybody who came in on the talk, those who came in on the tube. I sincerely appreciate you all. It is my sincere desire for you all today to have a fantastic and fabulous Tuesday. My sister Delia, bless up yourself over there. And somebody just gave me a heart here. I appreciate your heart. Island Boy, thank you so much. It's a Island Boy became number 11 member on the team. All right, bless up yourself, Island Boy. Thank you so much for the hearts. I sincerely appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yes, so that's going to be it from me for right now, my friends. Until next time, this is Trev from Trevessence, where your journey matters. Boogie Boy, bless up yourself. So have yourselves a great day, everybody, and I will see you all later. See you later, guys. I'm gone. I'm going to get myself together for the day. See you later, Winsome. See?